Welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen, and today I'm headed out of town with my family to an apple orchard. We're gonna
have my favorite shirt on.
You've seen that one a lot, probably. We're gonna go do some apple picking and get lots of apples, hopefully, for apple butter and apple sauce and apple eating. Y'all think of anything else? Apple pie. Oh, that's a good one. Apple cobbler.
Apple kebabs. Apple gumbo.
All the apple goodness that we can think of. When I was younger, we used to make apple cider, but I don't have the means to do that right now. Oh, I am going to make apple cider vinegar. I am going to try that this year, so that's something exciting. So stay tuned.
So here we are picking apples out of a box for her dad.
With these places is that they pick almost all of the apples and put them in boxes ahead of time, so that you pick it out of a box. We're walking around the orchard, but most of the trees are pretty clean. So we might just hang out in the orchard a little bit, but then go back and fill up our bags from the already picked apples. My favorite part about picking apples, snack time.
Alright, now these are
cute. Ella's scared.
I'm scared too.
It's not stealing. No, it just pays a lot of money.
Yeah, it's foaming.
Now, you do have to be careful of bees when you're biting into it. You can get stung. They'll come after you.
Yeah, probably not from that one.
This just means that they don't have pesticides.
Now these look dark, really dark though. I think these. I know the ones that.
Oh, those are maybe.
I don't think so.
Arkansas black.
Arkansas black. I don't think so. Based on that map, this would be where the ones you were looking at were.
but the gnats.
The gnats are everywhere.
The only thing, the downside of coming right before the Apple Festival, which they have an Apple Festival every year, and we normally come for the Apple Festival. It's actually tomorrow, but we can't make it back up here tomorrow because we're going out of town for a wedding in the opposite direction. So we had to come today, but because of that, yes, they have stripped all the trees and they've got everything in boxes, and it's all pre-picked now because they've got a lot of other festivities going on tomorrow, and they know that won't be the main event. So that was the downside of it. We did get to go out in the orchard some and get pictures and pick a few things, but all in all, it was still a success. We got us some apples, we got my dad some apples, and what's for dinner for the next couple of weeks? Apples. No, we have.
Or another.
Yeah, we have lots of things we're gonna make, but I did think of something that we forgot on that list we gave earlier. Fried apple pies. We gotta do some fried apple pies.
Yeah. Maybe you can use them corn tortilla things you made the other night. Apple and egg.
Yes, I made homemade tortillas for the first time, and I was trying to make corn tortillas, except for I didn't have any of the Hasa Marina, I think is the name of the flour that you're supposed to use. I didn't have any of that, so I used cornmeal because I looked it up online and it said you could use cornmeal as a substitute, but it wasn't coming together, like a dough wasn't coming together, so I had to add in flour. Well, in doing so, it became more like cornbread. So it became like flat fried cornbread, but everybody just raved over it, thought it was so good. So it wasn't
a hoe cake, it was a corn cake.
It was a corn cake. So it was a happy mistake. It worked out, and
You gotta have it again.
we'll have to have it again. That's how you learn, right? Okay, so on to get some lunch because we've worked up an appetite picking apples. We did have some apple snacks, or snacked on some apples, rather, off the trees. I did. I got hit in the head by an apple. And we all escaped without being stung, so that's a bonus too. But the gnats were terrible. They were really bad. I will say I'm still learning how to record for YouTube and be in public. It's a little awkward. Still trying to figure that out.
Nobody was around.
No, and the people that were around, they didn't seem to mind, but yeah, Ella has to help me with that. All right, let's get some lunch. You guys, it is an absolutely gorgeous fall day here, and I was down to the garden earlier, was checking on the chickens, and I saw that we have a lot of green peppers that I want to go ahead and get harvested. They're tiny. Our temperatures are actually going to be, our overnight lows are going to be in the low 30s and definitely below the freezing point. So I have a feeling that those peppers need to go ahead and get off the vine now. That's happening in a couple of days. So we're gonna go ahead and head down. I was down there earlier, like I said, and I thought I'm gonna go back up and get you guys and bring you with. So I got my little basket here. There's also some radishes down there, and I wanna show you the broccoli. Oh my goodness, the broccoli is growing. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure what's going on with the cauliflower, and honestly, I've been wondering if it really is cauliflower because I've never grown that before, and I'm not seeing any sign of a cauliflower. So I'm now wondering, could it be some sort of cabbage that was mislabeled at the nursery, because I did get those starts at a local nursery here. So that's not something I grew from seed. So I don't know, I'm gonna show you, and maybe some of you experienced cauliflower gardeners can help me out, and just, maybe it's just not time for them to bloom yet, but I'm hoping that they'll be okay in case we get a frost. I mean, these are the cutest little peppers. They actually look like hot peppers. They're so small, but I thought, you know what, they're a nice texture, they're good and hard, and I think they're just not going to get any bigger because it's getting so cold now. So we're just going to go ahead and see what we can do. We can probably cut these up, put them in a recipe, maybe even freeze a little bag, but definitely want to save them and get them off the vine before this frost. To be honest, it's an absolute mess in here as far as the weeds, but it's fall, it's a fall garden, and I don't care as much about the weeds and keeping it highly tended like I do in the spring and summer. Plus, it's been just a very busy time, but nevertheless, even despite all that, we still have beautiful lettuce growing. I'm not going to harvest any today because I still have some left from last week that I harvested, but it is delicious. I will say a much better harvest in the spring, but I did enjoy growing it this fall. Sorry about that. And I will probably continue to grow it next fall. Got some pretty ones though. That's our salad mix, and then this over here. I had about, let's see, about 6 of these that kind of just scattered throughout the garden that bloomed, and this is our butter crunch. So we've got a few, and that's great. I'm happy with it. Do still have lots of these sweet potato plants that have popped up all over. I'm just gonna let them do their thing. The frost might kill the leaves. I'm really not sure what happens to sweet potatoes during the frost, but we're just gonna let them hang out and see. And then lots of radishes. Gonna go ahead and get these harvested today. Look at this one. Wow, beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and get this harvest out. I did harvest some last week, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get a few more and share those with my mom. She likes radishes and seriously just can't eat them all. But I am gonna figure out a way to preserve them. Maybe some sort of slaw blend or something that we can make and maybe freeze or ferment. So we'll check into that. Our carrots are starting to really come along. I don't see anything that needs to be pulled up right now. Carrots do take a little bit longer, so we're just gonna let those continue on. But I've got about 6 of those plants. There's another sweet potato. They are everywhere. And we'll just see what happens. I'm not really sure what carrots do in the fall because I've never tried them before. They might be better in the spring as well. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at that I think is cauliflower, but as you can see, there's just no, I guess it's called a crown. There's no crown that's forming right there. It just almost looks like the formation of cabbage. So I don't know, I'm not sure because all the broccoli is starting to head. I don't know. I thought it was cauliflower, that's what I was told, so I guess I'll just keep it in here and we'll just see what happens. I'm not sure if the frost will affect it or not, but if it does, we'll just give some of these leaves to these ladies over here. They're anxiously waiting me to toss something in, aren't ya? They're getting so big. Here's a volunteer bean plant. You can see it's got all kinds of sprouts on it. Again, not sure what will happen if it gets hit by frost. Probably not going to be a good thing for it, but it just volunteered itself. Then we have our cabbage. The cabbage I think is looking really good. This is red cabbage, or some people might call it purple cabbage, but you can see it's starting to form that head in the center. Just about all of them are doing that. So I think they are coming along very nicely. I did go ahead and only just pull 2 radishes and several green peppers for today. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, even over on TikTok, which I encourage you to do so because I do share a lot more of the day-to-day in the life things, but I did show you last week that I got a pretty large radish harvest, and it was actually our second really large one. So I'm going to just get 2 today. I'm going to leave a couple of others until maybe tomorrow evening. But let me show you this broccoli. Look at that beautiful head of broccoli. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so excited because I have really failed in growing broccoli the last several attempts that I've made. I think I grew successful broccoli 1 year, and then I tried 2 or 3 more years and just never could get a good head of broccoli. So I'm pretty excited about this. So maybe it just does better here in the fall for me. I don't know. This is the second one. So I only have 4 broccoli plants, and we have heads forming in all of them. I am super excited. I'm just hoping that they will be okay for the frost. I will do some research on that and see if I need to cover them, because I definitely will cover these just because they're showing so much promise. I don't want anything to happen to them. Girls love it when I gather them up some bottom leaves off these plants, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that and give them a little snack. They'll really be happy when they can get in here and do some snacking of their own, but I am gonna wait until we complete this year's harvest before I let them in. All right, I did go ahead and get a little basket of greens together for them. There you go. Yum. Came out to the building. I'm gonna grab these pots I've had in storage for a long time. This one has a bottom to it, but that one doesn't. They really are a pretty, you can't tell in here with the lighting, but they're very pretty, like a robin's egg blue, I guess. And I thought they would be perfect to put the plant starts that we took from one of our house plants a few weeks ago. I think I showed you a video of that right before we went on vacation. Cut a piece off of my house plant and went ahead and started in some water to see if it would propagate, and it did, and it's time for it to go into a pot. So I thought we would just go ahead and do that today. Well, this is not unusual, but time did get away from me today a little bit. After I got everything out of the garden, I came inside. It was time to have a little bit of lunch, and then we needed to run out and run some errands. So now I'm back home and it's time to think about dinner. Now I did give this a little bit of thought this morning, and I asked the family and my husband what they wanted this week for dinner. One of the suggestions was Tater Tot Casserole, and that's something that I used to make years ago. Such an easy recipe, and I don't know why I don't make it more often, but that's what I decided to throw together tonight because it is a little bit after 5. And I've got all the ingredients for it. Very, very simple recipe. Probably so simple that I don't even need to make a video about it, but I thought, why not? You know, maybe you guys need a simple recipe that you can add to your dinner menu. So I'm gonna share this one with you tonight. I am gonna use some of our lean ground beef that we got from a local farmer. It's still a little frozen, so I'm gonna stick it in the microwave just to defrost a little bit before I get it cooked. All right, so I found some of our garden fresh summer corn in the freezer that we're gonna add, and then I'm also gonna add some of these broccoli florets, just a microwavable steam and bag broccoli. So I thought I would add these to our meal for tonight. Our recipe actually calls for half of a medium onion chopped, but I'm just gonna go ahead and add in some onion powder. Well, there we go. And then I think I'll add in some garlic powder to that as well. And that will give it a little bit of flavoring, that onion taste and that onion flavor. All right, now that we have our meat browned, we're gonna go ahead and get this into our 9x13 casserole dish. All right, now we're just gonna add 1 can cream of chicken. I actually have a recipe of how you can make your own cream soups that I'll have to share with you here soon, but I just happen to have a can of this in my food storage, so that's what we're using tonight. And we're just gonna go ahead and get this mixed in with our hamburger. Now this is a recipe that you could double, even triple. In fact, I probably could have easily doubled it and got it to fit in this dish. This is probably gonna be small enough to fit in like an 8x8, but I'll just spread it out to fit this 9x13. But this is definitely one that you can make up and freeze, like make up ahead and freeze for a freezer meal. I'll probably do that here in the near future, make up some freezer meals. And now all you're gonna do is just add a bag of crispy tots or tater tots. These are crispy tots from Aldi. Tater tots, this is a 32-ounce bag. This recipe only calls for 16 ounces, so I'm just gonna do enough to cover the top of this. And that's going to be probably a little bit more than half that bag, but like I said, we probably could have easily doubled this, which I think is what I have done in the past. That's okay, this is going to be plenty for us to eat. Probably will even have some leftovers. And that's a good thing because I will not be here tomorrow night. My mom and I are actually headed out of town to a concert tomorrow evening, so that way Tim and the kids will have something to eat. All right, so I think that's gonna do it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this into our oven. It's preheated to 375 degrees and we're gonna bake this for about 30 to 40 minutes and we're gonna bake it uncovered. Gonna go ahead and prepare a cup of shredded cheese, and cheddar cheese is what it recommends. I happen to have a little bit of Monterey Jack cheese here that we had shredded up for another recipe. So I'm gonna see how much I've got of this, and that's actually a cup right there. But because we like things extra cheesy, I am gonna shred a little bit of our cheddar cheese here, and we'll just have maybe like a cup and a half to 2 cups, and I think that's what we need anyway to cover the top there. So I'm gonna get that shredded up. Our corn is almost done. After I boil it to a boil, I'm just letting it cook for about 5 minutes or so. It smells so good. Every time I think I'm not gonna fool with corn and grow it again, then I eat the corn and I change my mind. Okay, I think while I'm waiting on the tater tot casserole to cook, we're gonna go ahead and plant these in our containers. You can see the roots on them. They are definitely ready to go in the dirt. And guys, look, these are those green tomatoes that I had in the basket weeks ago before we were going on vacation, that I was trying to figure out what I needed, what recipe I could use to make green tomatoes, and then just sitting in the basket, they started to ripen up. So this is a few of them that have ripened, and I had one last week, tastes like just a summer tomato. So happy that I didn't go ahead with the green tomato recipe and that I waited, because I think we're gonna get some late summer tomatoes. Now it is getting chilly out here, so I'm gonna work quickly, and I am going to go for this one that has, I think it's this one, the longer roots first. I mean, obviously we are probably long overdue getting this in the dirt. So hopefully, I've never done this before, y'all, but hopefully we can figure it out. I'm gonna take a little bit of dirt out of this pot. We can add it back in there. But I need room for these massive roots. All right, now. Okay. Uh-oh, I did not think this through. Okay, let's see. Oh, good. I was able to get those through without messing up the root. All right, so we're just going to make sure we get our roots down deep in the soil and covered. And then I've been told that this is one of the easiest things you can do, propagating houseplants, and that once you do this one time, you'll be hooked. So I'm already feeling that that's going to be the case. That is. All right, look at that, so sweet. Now my thought, and then we'll water this with our water here. My thought process behind this was that you could start some house plants, get some cute little pots to put them in, and this would be a great gift idea for Christmas. I mean, who doesn't love a house plant? Well, most people anyway. But what a great teacher gift that would be. They could keep it in the classroom, put it by a window, and the kids could watch it grow throughout the year and take turns watering it. So I just think that's a sweet idea. And if you have a house plant, an easy one to come by. So you want to cook until your tater tots are crispy and browning pretty nicely. Then we're going to add our shredded cheese on top and put it back in there just until the cheese is melted. This is such a simple meal, but it is really delicious, and the family enjoyed it, and there was only about one serving left after all was said and done. So it didn't stretch as far as I had hoped, but it did its job for tonight. The broccoli and the corn, just so yummy. So until next time, friends, I hope you will remember to live simply, use what you have, and enjoy the moments you've been given. Bye for now.